So I have a daughter called Estella, and she's 8, and she has autism. And she's very verbal, but she has really severe behavioural challenges. And the other thing is that I was an actress for many years, and now I work as a psychotherapist and I work in organisations. But I had always been really curious about how we could use drama for children on the spectrum, because I know just how much it can help people to understand themselves and to express themselves and to find out different ways of being in the world. And lots of people had actually asked me whether I could do drama workshops for kids on the spectrum, and I'd done some, but they were more about social skills or role play, and I knew that something much deeper and richer was possible, but I didn't quite know what. And I saw something mentioned about Kelly's Tempest performance on the National Autistic Society website, and I got very excited and I searched on YouTube and found videos of what they were doing, and it was one of those complete epiphany moments, and I thought, that's it. That's the work that I wanted to do and hoped was there. I know as a parent that when people say, oh, there's this thing on for autistic people, or autistic people are welcome, I know that I sometimes have that thought, yeah, but you don't mean my child. You don't really know just how challenging my child is. And so I think twice. And I know there are lots of parents like me who feel like me, who have had experiences over many years of their child being told they're welcome and then, discreet, you mind taking around a bit, or it's a bit difficult, or somebody that might get damaged, or, and that feeling on the edge of society and isolated. It's really profound for a lot of parents. So there are many things I loved about the performance, but one of the things I really wanted to communicate to people is that this is a space where everybody is welcome, where everybody is celebrated, where people's idiosyncrasies and unique ways of being in the world are part of what happens in the space. They're part of the drama. It's part of what's wonderful about this. It's wonderful because it's the Tempest, and it's wonderful because you've got these incredible performers who are utterly in the moment with the children that they're working with. So they're really bringing those children out. They're working with them wherever they are, however verbal they are, however. My daughter started to put her hands over her face, too scared to be seen. But gradually the hands come down, and she's fascinated by the bells, and she's brought out, and she's part of it. And then it's all a bit too much, so she's under the chairs, and but that's okay. And it's just accepted. And Kelly makes it, as parents, that it's okay that it's accepted. And then gradually she's out from under the chairs, and she's back in again, and she's doing a bit more, And I saw other children have very similar responses. Some who are just in it right from the start, some who you see sort of gradually unfold, and some who, do it and then they get overwhelmed and they need to step back and even leave the room for a bit, and they come back. And that's quite an incredible experience for a parent to see their child so welcomed.
That I've been working with children with autism for 15 years, doing drama workshops week in, week out. So my knowledge of what to expect from the children and from their families is 15 years old. So I feel like there's almost nothing I haven't experienced. And I wanted to create a production in a public space, in a theatre, where, just as Helen says, everybody is welcome to experience the chance to stop time and explore feelings and emotions, and have the time to remember what it feels like just to be alive, which I think Shakespeare gives you the landscape and the space to do. Very often children are invited to watch a performance as a passive audience member. This is really the opposite of that. The show is the audience. So the children, 15 children at a time, sit round this floor cloth with 6 actors, and we have a few musical instruments. Everything else is the voice and the body and the games. And each game that's played has something inside it that will help the children tackle what they struggle with, but that's never mentioned. So nowhere in our space would anyone say that's not the way to play. Instead, the opposite is true. We applaud that and say, what a lovely way for you to join us. So we listen to them and they listen to us. So I'm very aware, as Helen was saying, of the anxiety that families may be experiencing. So they take a great leap of faith in coming to see our show. Consequently, I'm always at every performance, and I'm the first person that the children and the families meet in the foyer of the theatre. So I will always greet the families, be so happy, genuinely happy, for them to come and see this thing that I've made, and ask the child's name, which is the first thing I always do, and find out a little bit about where they've come from, and who they are, and what they might be expecting and experiencing. And I try as hard as I can to make everyone feel completely at home. And at the Orange Tree, that's going to be a very easy job, because it's such a welcoming, wonderful space for us all to be in. So everyone gathers in the foyer outside the space, and I make sure that I know every child's name. And if there are any things, any triggers that the parents may want to tell us about, or anything that we may need to be aware of. And then when everyone's gathered in, we go into the space, and the actors are there to greet the children, and there's a settling period which can last as long as it needs to, for the actors to meet the children and the children to join them on the floor cloth to get ready to play. There's no rush for the performance to start.
I think she was bewitched by it. You know, I think that she wanted to tell people about it. She remembered, obviously, certain bits of it, and particularly the bells, I think, were something that she was really interested in, this magical idea of fairies and bells. And she wanted to play the games with us. When we got home, she said, because Alec, her brother, wasn't there, she said, I want to show Alec the games, I want to sit and do it with him. So she was very, very interested. And it'd be interesting to see how she's going to bring her again. It'd be interesting to see how she is in a year down the line, because she's got so much of that in her. You know,
Yes.
she's kind of part of us, so wants to be, you know, part of a drama and want to stand on the stage, and part of her is so scared.
And I know that at the Orange Tree we're then going to lay on some tea and biscuits afterwards, so that the families can meet and talk. Because that's been quite an issue that's been fed back to us, is the families feel so isolated and then have this amazing experience and then go off into the world again. So I want to give the people who may feel isolated the chance to do some finding out who their friends may be, who a new lot of friends may be.
I think that's a great idea.
Good.
And I think the welcome, I think it's all that you say, but there is something quite wonderful about that feeling of walking into the space and feeling so welcomed. It's very moving for families, and it almost goes beyond that. It's seeing people's absolute curiosity in your child. I mean, a really warm curiosity in who this person is, which is lovely to experience.